Let's go drift it.
Hey guys, it's the Drifting Dad, and I am back. It's been a while since I've made a video for you guys, but I've been super busy, and now I can get back to working on my car and get it ready for some Piedmont drift action. Here I've got the bottom frame all mitered up, using some magnets kind of hold it in place. And what I did to make sure it's in the right position is you take a tape measure and you want to measure the diagonal from here to here and from here to here. And if those numbers are equal, then you have a square, or everything is, these two are parallel and that's parallel. So it'll be nice rectangle when I weld it. And what I want to do, so there are some gaps, but I'm going to start welding from here. Start like tack here and then tack here, because this here is going to pull in these and it's going to act on each other. If I tack here first, it's going to want to spread this way, and you don't have a lot of support here, so you'll start to warp this. It's a nice little trick there. But what I'm going to do now is set the fuel cell on it and see how that fits. Here's the fuel cell, and you can see it fits pretty well. I definitely have plenty of space to put some mounting tabs if I want to. And I've got a little bit of clearance here, and there should be a little bit of clearance there as well. So I'm pretty happy with that. There it is, time to put the rest of the structure, or probably weld that. And what I'm going to do now is weld the base, and then I'll mock up the rest of the structure. Make sure the base is nice and square and flat first. So I got one side welded, and interesting thing is I started here, went to here. After I did those two welds, the part was rocking basically back and forth, but then I just stayed calm, welded here, it pulled back flat. So always remember, work across and things will stay relatively square. So now I'm going to weld this other side. Got it sanded, cleaned with acetone. Unfortunately, I have this super nasty gap. I'm going to have to figure out how to fill that effectively. First I'll tack and then do some lay wire. This gap is not nearly as bad. Again, I will weld across to minimize the pulling, because obviously whenever metal heats up, it changes. All right, finished welding this side. It's not as flat as it was originally, and that's probably my fault. You can see it moves just a little bit, but I'm pretty happy with how it came out, and I'm going to put a tape on it, double check that we're still decently square, and then I'll have to weld the outsides and the insides. I'm going to take my time with that though, say maybe I can pull it back in the correct way. So here's the beginnings of the frame. It's actually staying pretty flat now, which is, I'm happy about that. And now the next step is going to be welding these 4 uprights on. And I'll mock everything up, take my time, do it right. Fuel cell still fits really nicely on here. So I was working on another car. You might have seen it on my Facebook feed if you follow me there. But I've got the fuel cell cage almost completed, like mostly tacked together. And what I'm going to do now, I think I discussed this, is I have to trim more back here so I can actually fit the cage in the car, or fit the fuel cell in the car. So I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. Here is the fuel cell all set, or the cage set in the car. It's all tacked up at this point. What I'm going to do here is build little pads, like a 2x2 square, and then weld that to the tube, and then weld that the sheet metal. So hopefully this welds okay. I know that people have not had good success welding on these chassis really well, so we'll see. And then I will put a firewall over all this so you'll never see it. Alright, at this point I've got the mounting plates welded on. I'm going to have to weld the cage to the chassis. Instead of welding to the frame rail here, I'm welding to the top of the, like this package tray. It's pretty thick. And what this basically allows me to do is the weight of the fuel cell will be supported by this piece of metal instead of just like one weld and shear. So it's obviously a lot stronger, and then the weld is just preventing it from coming up and down. So next steps, I'm going to have to build a simple strap, probably over this way or two here, just to hold the fuel cell down. But it shouldn't really be going anywhere. Now that I'm done with getting the fuel cell all mounted up, I've got to plumb it and wire the fuel pump. You can see the both -6 AN lines from BMRS, Brown & Miller Racing Solutions, which I actually got these on eBay. What you can do to find these is just search BMRS whatever AN line you need. You can get them for incredibly cheap compared to what they would cost normally new. And they are all PTFE, flexible, really super flexible, and so they're going to be good for like E85 or anything, and take whatever fuel pressure you're going to run. I'm going to have to put the eyelets on, which they provided for the fuel pump here, and then this is the sender, which I'll wire up as well. I've got a return. The return is a -8, but I just have an adapter -6, and then obviously I'm going to have like a firewall that goes over all of this when I'm done. It's going to probably seal somewhere here, come straight across, and go down over this fuel cell. So it's sealed off from the rest of the cabin. I will be doing that at a later date. See here, this is where the lines come to the actual engine, and I've got these nice adapters. These are specifically for adapting a 3/8 and a 5/16 line to the from those hard lines to the -6, and these are like so basically like GM uses a quick disconnect, and this patterns it very closely, and then it gives you an AN fitting on the end. It works really well. Goes right to the stock fuel rail still. Maybe at some point I'd upgrade injectors, but not right now. Then you can see I'm routing this. It's very important to keep everything routed, obviously out of the way of the headers, and then once you go to the bottom of the car, which you're not going to be able to see, but also route them so they're protected on the bottom of the car, and that's what I'm working on right now. So you can see here, these lines are about 10 and 12 foot sections, and what I'm doing here is using some clamps and stuff to keep them away from the, or I guess up against, protected by the fuel rail, frame rail as much as possible. But what I'm also going to do is build a skid plate to protect them for any off-course incidents and whatnot, because they are very low to the ground. Hey guys, thank you for checking out my video. I'm going to be drifting for sure sometime in the near future, hopefully February by the latest, and I'm going to have the fuel cell all together, so that'd be a good time to go ahead and test everything, make sure it's all set up correctly. But please check out my other videos, comment, like, subscribe, and I'm going to be doing a big giveaway as well at 500 subscribers, which I'm getting very, very close to.